It's the Zach Martin Show. I'm with my longtime good friend, my best buddy, Dave Mason, who,
Hallelujah.
and we still keep going at it after all these years. And for those who don't know, Dave is a really good disc jockey. I've had him fill in on major market radio in New York City for the great Scott Muni, and he did an exceptional job. I think that one day down the road, there should definitely be the Dave Mason Show.
The Dave and Zach show.
And that'd be good. I bet you would make a lot of money, a lot of moolah shmoolah. Probably get all the guests. So, what are you up to now? I know that we're all having to deal with the COVID-19 situation and the quarantine. So, you're really creative. Why don't you tell us what you ended up doing and what led you to that?
Well, when you get served lemons, you got to make lemonade. So, and everybody was asking me to, you got to do something, man, do some like little performance or something. And since I'm not very adept, or just I don't like doing stuff just by myself, and I like playing guitar.
That's so weird. That's so weird because you're a solo artist and you don't like to do stuff by yourself.
Right. So I figured, well, you know what? Let's. Well, first of all, I saw the whole thing. What got it started off was seeing the Doobie Brothers version of Old Black Water and what they did, which was so fucking good and cool and so well recorded and shot and the whole thing. And my good friend John McPhee, I called him and said, "Hey, so all right, how did you guys do this? Because if I'm going to try and do something with some other guys playing, really the latency issues are just not allowing you really to pull it off with the quality that I'd want to do it." So he explained how it was done, i.e. everybody was in their own various parts of the world and locations. We cut a basic track, sent the track to Pat and to Tommy, and they did their parts and filmed each other on an iPhone. And a friend of mine down in Nashville, Rob Arthur, put this all together. So I said, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, how would you feel about us, if we did a version of Feeling All Right? Because it's easy song. Everybody knows it. And it's kind of hard to screw it up." And he was in immediately on it. And I said, "Well, what would be really cool would be if I can get all three of you guys to be part of this." So he talked to everybody. Everybody was amenable to it. And then obviously my choice for doing the drums was Mick. And I was being just a blatant, somewhat of a blatant commercial whore about the whole thing. In other words, I need some cachet guys to do this, and let me see if I can pull in, artists that have their own careers and their own thing going on, and see if I can put a little mini super group together for whatever reason. So Mick, of course, was amenable right off the bat. Sammy Hagar, I met recently in Christmas in Hawaii. And Sammy had asked me if I'd do a benefit thing with him, which I said, of course, man, I'll be happy to do it, which got postponed because of COVID. So I asked him if he'd be into doing this. And then, of course, Michael McDonald, who I just huge fan of Michael's. And that everybody was agreeable. So I cut a little simple track in my own studio at home. I sent it to John. McPhee was very instrumental in helping get the whole audio of this together. Michael McDonald didn't live too far away in California. So Michael went to John's studio, and Michael put the piano on, which was really the key to setting the whole vibe on that track, was that piano part.
I would agree.
And then everybody Mick was in Maui. He did the drums there. And Tommy, I'm not sure where he is, somewhere. Sammy was in around the Bay Area, and everybody did their thing, and everybody shot themselves on iPhones, and then it was basically all sent to this guy Rob Arthur in Nashville, who is actually was Peter Frampton's keyboard player for a long time, and has sort of become very adept at doing this. Hold on. Adept.
Oh, wait. Was that feeling all right as your ringer?
No, that's a blues thing. Da 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 da.
Oh, okay.
The woman told my mother, "Before I was born, so you got a boy child coming. You're gonna be a son of a gun." So
bad to the bone. Yep.
Bad. So anyway, Rob has gotten very adept at doing this video stuff, and he put went go to back and forth with stuff, and it took a couple of months to put it all really put it all together. Well, but it just came out. I came out way better than any of us expected. Everybody was just,
oh my gosh,
over the top with it, and
it was
cool.
It's actually exceptional. We'll play the video in a little bit. I was blown away. I listened to the premiere on Sirius XM. A little bummed out that I wasn't set up on my side of things with the radio station and all that, because I'm like, oh my gosh, damn it, they had, and my first reaction was, when I get a hold of that Bob Buckman, I'm going to strangle him, because he probably had his hand in it. This is really interesting in that what was the benefit that Sammy Hagar wanted you to work on? Can you say? Because maybe we can help him out.
It's a charity that and be honest with you, I'm not sure exactly what it is he's benefiting, because this is a number of months have gone by here, but he does it every year, and it's a sort of more of acoustic based sort of charity. He does it in San Francisco every year, and I think it's either to benefit some homeless or obviously some underprivileged people.
He's a really cool dude. And when I found out that he was part of this project, I was like, oh, how is this going to sound? And he really surprised me, right? I mean, you might have been surprised because you remember maybe hearing Bad Motor Scooter when he was with Van Halen, or some of his solo stuff, I Can't Drive 55, those classics.
Right.
He is really talented. Now,
yeah.
What always gets me in trouble with artists is, and this happened with Vivian Campbell, I go, what was your favorite version of Van Halen? Sammy Hagar version or David Lee Roth? So he picks Sammy Hagar as his favorite version. I agree with him, because I think the musicality of Sammy Hagar and what he adds to the group was much more appealing to me as a musical type of guy than David Lee Roth, who's a great showman, right? It's like orange and lemon. You can't compare. Right. So that ends up blowing up and ends all over the world. I mean, it still creeps up every now and then when people are bored what Vivian Campbell said about Van Halen and Sammy Hagar. So I figured that we could do the same thing by causing a little trouble, which you and I like to do. So tell me your favorite version of Van Halen. Would it be David Lee Roth or Sammy Hagar?
Well, I mean, it's apples and oranges.
Right, but just to cause some trouble.
But I would just basically with the type of that the musically I would say that Sammy is probably a better fit within that sort of musically that way.
Yes.
But David was as a showman, it worked.
Yeah, and David, what I liked about him is he would go really deep in the deck as far as blues and very interesting songs that he'd bring to the group. So,
yeah, it's apples and oranges.
Yeah,
I mean,
can't compare.
There's something to like about both things. I think
Maybe you should run for governor of California. I think your good answer is a way of not pissing anybody off. Is an inclination to me that.
Well, no, I'm not even. I'm not trying to play the politician here. I'm being genuine in the sense that there's some good stuff with either one.
I know. I'm just giving you a little guff.
Yeah, I understand.
Now, let's try to cause trouble this way.
Okay.
How long did it take you to realize that Led Zeppelin 1 was a great cover album by Led Zeppelin? Every single track, just about, was a cover.
Well, if you if you want to cause some trouble, then let me put it this way: I was never a Led Zeppelin fan in the first place.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, there's some great stuff in there. Um, it's a lot of there's a lot of. I mean, I guess for me, I mean, musically, I'm a I'm a melodic guy.
Oh,
Okay,
I like what you're going to say. A
my
songsmith.
my blues stuff is, guitar wise is it my guitar is a combination of Hank Marvin and every blues guy that existed. So, and the the fact of the matter is that there would be no me, there'd be no Eric Clapton, there'd be no Jimmy Page, and the stuff that they did had it not been for all the blues stuff that was laid down by all the black artists here in America. That's where we all got it from. I mean, Clapton basically became a master of every blues lick that was ever played, and then formed it into his. But all of us, we wouldn't exist if it wasn't for that. I mean, this is where all contemporary music originates, is America. So without that, there would have been none of us, really.
It's really interesting to me, Jimi Hendrix, because you have a story to tell about that, where he was not really appreciated in the beginning here in the United States. He goes to England and he really, I guess, makes his bones, I guess is the expression. He's like accepted into the community. It seems a lot easier. And I think if he doesn't go to England, we don't probably never hear the Jimi Hendrix story as it was. What's your take on Jimmy?
Well, I mean, I would think that part of that is the fact of the matter is that at the time when Jimmy had to go across the Atlantic to find his thing, the bottom line, I mean, America was still segregated radio.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Exactly. We never had that in Europe. We never had anything like that.
Stupid, right? Just dumb.
Yeah, we never had It wasn't black stations and white stations. It was just great records, or they weren't. So we never had to deal with all that, and probably for that reason, Jimmy would have been more accepted over there. And on top of that, there's a lot of great. I mean, there are just a lot of great, outstanding guitar players, in my opinion. Just as a fact, but just in my opinion, there are no more Jimi Hendrixes.
No.
Hendrix was something else, and Jimmy was a different space. He was like the Miles Davis of that genre. That's who Hendrix was. Hendrix would take it to other places and use the guitars in ways that were not being used.
How did you end up playing on All Along the Watchtower for Jimi Hendrix? You did the acoustic on that, correct?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
I first saw him when Chas Chandler brought him to England, and Chas, very smartly actually, Chas sort of paraded him around these semi-private clubs in London, Scotch of St. James, Bag of Nails. They were late night semi-private clubs. But a lot of all of us. I mean, you could walk into any one of them, and there'd be McCartney or Jagger or Lennon, or there was only one place to go in England, and that was London, unlike America. So you bumped into everybody, and I saw him. I think it was the Scotch of St. James, and all these late night clubs had bands. They would have a band playing, just local band or something playing in there. And I was there one night. I forget what hour it was, and this guy gets up on stage to sit in with the band in a little Levi jacket and Levi jeans and this big Bob Dylan afro fucking hairdo, and starts playing fucking guitar with this band. And I'm like, who the hell is this? Jesus Christ! It's like I maybe should think of another. I should look for another instrument to play. I mean, he was doing everything. It was just amazing. And then I just one night in Blazes, he was sitting there alone, and I just sat down and started talking to him. And he was a fan of Traffic,
Hmm.
and we just struck up a conversation. And then and then we were all sort of, the studios. We were all in the same studios. The engineer was the same for Hendrix, for Traffic, for the Stones. Mostly a lot of it, and we were all working in Olympic. And Jimmy and I sort of, and I used to keep wanting to get him to come down to the Traffic Cottage to jam and bring him down there. And I would get a little resistance from the other three. But I wish I could have pulled that off. Actually, I wish he'd have come down there. Because we had a stage outside of the house, because we were just in the middle of nowhere. So we could turn the Marshall stacks up full and not bother anybody. But that never happened. But anyway, I hung out. I spent time with him in his apartment, listening to records. Albert King was his just all-time favorite guitar player. And we just sort of knew each other. And then one day we were, get something. Anyway, we went to a friend of his was having a little get together at her apartment because she had an advanced copy of John Wesley Harding. And of course, everybody said, "Oh, we got to hear the new Dylan album. Everybody's going to hear the new Dylan album." So we went over there, and I guess something, we're playing the album, and I guess something struck Jimmy about Watchtower. And I don't exactly remember how long, but anyway, a few days or whatever later, I was in the studio with him at Olympic, and I played the acoustic guitar. Jimmy had a 6-string guitar. We sat opposite each other at a microphone, and it was just the three of us, me, him, and Mitch Mitchell. And that's how he laid down the basic track for All Along the Watchtower. And then he played the bass on it, did all the rest of the stuff. And at the time we were actually, I think it was a period where I had left Traffic after the first album. And I think it was that period, and there was a rift going on with Noel Redding and him. And Noel was kind of on his way out, and I was going to take Noel's place.
Wow.
Playing bass, which Hendrix's management put a stop to. So that never happened. And then I did some other tracks with him. I playing bass and sitar, which I believe some of them are surfacing at the moment.
Wow. See, I've never heard this.
Anyway,
I've never heard you tell me the story before. Thanks for sharing. That's really cool stuff.
So that's kind of how, my thing happened with Hendrix. I was just a huge fan. I was just like, I was in awe of the guy. He was just amazing.
We know that he was a great guitar player. How was he playing the bass?
Just as great.
I mean, that's it. Do you ever throw up your hands like, oh my gosh, I can't even play the bass for this guy? He's even better.
No, he put the bass on, and just so as a little detail, is that whole track was done at Olympic Studios. It was not done at Electric Ladyland, as some people seem to think. It was all cut at Olympic. So now we know the rest of the rock and roll story. They may have done a mix of it at Electric Ladyland or something, but the track was cut at Olympic.
Hey, some of the best.
I should know I was there.
Well, and some of the best music that I've heard from Jimmy are the BBC recordings when he's, in England, and you have not only with those BBC recordings, you get the interview that he had with the presenters. They call them presenters over there, as opposed to disc jockeys over here. Now let's talk about the Quarantine. Who are the members of the band? We got the guys from the Doobie Brothers. You got Michael McDonald.
I got Michael McDonald. I got all three of the Doobie Brothers.
Okay, that's cool.
Sammy Hagar and Mick Fleetwood.
So why don't we play the video right now, which I think is amazing. Sounds great on the radio. I'm going to keep playing it. Now I know I can play it after, Sirius XM got done with it, but I got to be honest with you. Down the road, 10 years from now, everybody will go, I remember hearing that song with Zach Martin and Dave Mason.
Seems I've got to have a change of scene. Every night, have the strangest dream. Person by the way it might have been. Left here on my own, or so it seems. Well, I've got to leave before it starts to scream. Someone locked the door and took the key. Feeling alright, oh yeah, hey, hey, and I feel it good myself. Baby, I'm feeling alright right now, hey, and I feel it good myself. Oh yes, yeah.
Boy, you sure took me for one big ride, and every now and then I wonder why. And when I think of you, I start myself to cry. I can't waste my time, I must get dry. Stop believing in all your lies. Too much to do before I die. I'm feeling alright.
Dave Mason and the Quarantines. The
Also,
Fat
by the way-
Man approves.
Also, by the way, yeah, on bass there's John Cowan, super talented, plays bass with the Doobie Brothers, and my drummer in my band, Alvino Bennett, there floating around playing the percussion.
Bongos, yeah, whatever those are. And then right behind you is Jimmy looking over your shoulder.
Yes, it's the Electric Ladyland album.
Yeah, and he's very pleased. I mean, that is a phenomenal masterpiece done by an incredible supergroup. And I think after COVID-19, what you guys need to do is somehow regroup and go on the road with this ensemble.
What? Yeah, we take that show on the road, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, I don't think I'd want to miss something like that.
Well, we certainly wouldn't have any lack of songs between all of us.
No, not at all. What would, all right, if you were to go on tour with this ensemble, give me like 3 or 4 songs that must be in the set besides Feeling All Right. What else?
Right, you got to have listen to the music. You got to have, we gotta obviously pick, 2 or 3 Fleetwood Mac songs. Sammy, we'll pick the highlights of Sam and stuff.
Yeah.
Michael McDonald, of course, you can pick a whole bunch of shit
I
from
keep
him.
forgetting. I every time I go to the refrigerator, I keep forgetting what I'm looking
Not the
for.
Doobie Brothers anymore.
And I think that a great cover song by Fleetwood Mac would be "Oh Well." I mean,
Absolutely.
I love
Oh,
that
yeah,
song. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's one of my favorites. And I'll say this: as far as guitarists go, I think Lindsey Buckingham sort of gets the short end of the stick because when we make our list of great guitar players, he should be on that list.
Well, he certainly, the stuff that he came up with for those Fleetwood Mac songs that were great. I mean, they were perfect.
Yeah, well, I've never seen anybody like do things without the guitar pick like he does either. I've never seen him with a guitar pick. Now,
Right.
my fingers would be in shreds if I had to do something like that. What would be if a young man or a woman is listening right now, a little guy, maybe 5, 6, and they hear Feeling All Right, that's my dad's jam, and they want to grow up and be a rock star, specifically, they want to play a guitar. What is the words of wisdom from Dave Mason on how to be a great guitar player or great at anything?
Practice.
That's it. Basic. Yeah. Practice.
Well, you gotta have a passion for it,
Mm-hmm. Do you think that somebody who might not have that raw talent, let's just say that they're a little bit, just average, maybe below average, but they're willing to put the time in and practice for thousands of hours and they have a passion for it. Do you think that person would make a good guitarist or should that person give it up?
I don't know.
You don't know? That's a good answer.
I mean, there's probably a lot of great guitar players, and there's some. I mean, I've run across some extraordinarily talented people, both vocally, songwriting, and that you'll probably never hear of.
Yeah, like me.
I mean, a lot of it is, I mean, I fumble around, and I can't read or write music. I can't, half the time I don't quite know what I'm doing. I just sort of fumble around with something until I go, oh, that sounds good. Okay.
Yeah. I get you. The worst thing for a guy like you or I is when someone goes, can you do it in the key of G? I'm like, yeah, oh yeah, sure. And then you just wing it anyway, right? Pretend like you know what you're doing. What are you looking forward to in 2021? Because let's face it,
getting back to work, for God's sake. I need to get back to work.
You do. I think going out with that ensemble. Have you talked to the guys about the possibility of 2021?
Oh God,
that?
It's not so much that; it's dealing with the management and the rest of the people that go around the ensemble.
I'll tell you what.
Everybody's got their. I already get things on my Facebook about, hey, how about taking this show on the road? It's
right.
Like, well, yeah, I think probably be a very successful. I don't know. Maybe there's a way of. Maybe there's something in there where it would have to be, say, 2 or 3 select shows somewhere.
I was going to say, do the Pink Floyd style where you have New York, LA, and don't go to Chicago, but some other place. And you do some sort of massive fundraiser, because after this is all over, Man, I'll tell you what, the toll it's taking on so many different levels, which leads us to this. I've been, really pushing the suicide prevention hotline because a lot of people are finding themselves in really bad situations. They're, I guess, desperate or perhaps really lonely or out of sorts or whatever verbiage you want to use, not doing
Yep.
well in the head.
Yeah.
And there's a couple things. We got to stop the stigma, right? Of people feeling depressed or not with it, or, maybe let's say that someone might be bipolar, whatever that mental illness is. Stop making fun of people for having that mental illness, the things you can't see. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Having said that, I know that there are a lot of people that will listen or watch this video, and I'd like you to take down the suicide prevention hotline. You can put it on a refrigerator. Make sure you have discussions with your kids. Call on your loved ones and on your friends. Make sure that they're feeling all right. So let's get everybody feeling all right. 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. One of the keys to getting through all of this is keep yourself occupied.
Oh, yeah.
Idle
Well,
hands is the devil's playground, so to speak. You got to keep yourself
Yeah, I
occupied.
mean, yeah, it's you. I mean, everybody has their moments. Everybody gets down occasionally, and everybody goes through their blue stuff. But for me, for the most part, I just try to keep as positive attitude as I possibly can. And I mean, for me, one of the things, strangely, I mean, the weird thing is that had it not been for this pandemic and this situation, that video would never have gotten made.
That's right. There you go.
So, like I said, when you get lemons, just make lemonade somehow.
Dave,
There's always
if
something that comes out of a situation if you're open enough to let it come forward and take advantage. I think that's the way I look at it.
No, you're exactly right. If I wasn't true to myself, if I didn't understand my integrity and what my boundaries were and my unwillingness to bend or yield at certain times in my career, I wouldn't have been fired that many times and I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So, it's a painful process, but it makes you stronger. And, I'm doing things that I bet you 5 years down the road, people are going to go, well, that moron, look at him. Like, you know what I'm saying? That I'll laugh at that. Everything comes easy for him. You've seen that said.
Yeah,
before,
well,
it's just easy. So my whole thing is don't get mad, get even. And,
living well is the best revenge.
Right. And just remember, no matter who you are, always look at it this way. If the morons can do it, you can too. So that's always been
look on the bright side of life.
Did it. Well, thank you so much, Dave, for hanging out with us. I really do appreciate it.
I just want to just throw in there, because we'll probably be doing another one of these, just as a taste, as a teaser, that I part of the last couple of years also is I re-recorded all of Alone Together.
Okay. So yeah.
And it's going to be called Alone Together Again.
I've got the album.
And it will be coming out. It's not available at the moment. You have an advanced copy of it.
Yes, but I
honored. You can't do anything with it right now.
Okay? I'm a man of my word. You know that. I have it sitting right next to my 545's book.
Good. So we're looking at this
October,
coming out. Well, it'll probably be close to the beginning of like November, around November time.
Okay.
Beginning of November. I would like to have gotten it out, because this is the 50th
anniversary in July
of the album, and that would have been in April. But unfortunately, where some things have happened, I've actually, in all of this, I've taken on new management, new things in my own life and career. So it should be coming out in November. And also I'm going to be putting together the CD has that multicolor look like the original, but I'm going to be doing a few select multicolored vinyl.
Oh, wow. Cool. Vinyl's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Do you mind if I show everybody what the CD looks like?
You can do that.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Sophie, honey, would you
We can
go
do
over
that.
there and,
We're a little-
get me the album that's right over there? And
Little
Dave, you might remember when Sophie was on the right over there. See the CD? There you go, honey. Thank you. You might remember Sophie was a little baby when you first met her, and we stopped over in, I think, West Orange, where you were staying, and she was in
Okay.
a little baby carriage, and there was an indoor pool, and she must have been 2, and she's looking at that pool. I'm like, don't even try it. Do not even go there. But she's going to be 20 in 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Think about that. All right, so here is the
It
album.
goes by. It goes by.
Yep, it certainly does.
That's the
Here-
CD.
And here's the multicolor that you will ultimately make into some vinyl.
Yes, I will.
And,
They'll like all of the originals, they'll all be different. So
that's cool. So you have a series. That's,
well, all of
that's a
them.
good idea.
Well, originally they were all different. There was no way to control the colors in the vinyl press. So yeah, so everybody
Oh.
comes out differently. And
Gotcha.
there's that. And then 2021 should be the book. Only you know and I know.
Oh, you're working on that. I had no idea.
Finally, I got bugged into doing this. If I had $1 for everybody that could say, Dave, you got to do a book. You got to do a book. And I'm like, please, come
Yeah,
on.
well, let me just I hate to bust your bubble, but you don't make much money on those books. But
Well, I understand that.
yeah, well, as long as you
As an
understand
artist,
it.
listen. As an artist, the only way that we make money is going on the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or
There's no-
postmortem,
There
postmortem, which is unfortunate.
is going on the road. We are working music. I am a working stiff. Okay.
Well, you bring a good point out. See, a lot of people have a misunderstanding. Let me just try to, I guess, correct the thinking here. Although have been heard by millions of people on the radio over many years, am not a multimillionaire. Dave, I can't say, but probably doesn't have as much money as everybody thinks. Together, we don't have as much money as everybody thinks. You see the gold records on the wall, you hear the songs on the radio, and you think that these people are just rolling over in dough. If we were that loaded with money, neither one of us would be working right now or even doing this. We'd probably be doing something totally different. Like, I don't know what you would. Here's what I would do. I'd be in Venice right now having some lasagna and maybe some sea bass.
Nice. Yeah. Let's go.
And then I would take a train trip through the Alps and hang out in the Munich beer halls for a while.
Like that. That
Right,
sounds
and
like
then
a
after
great
that,
trip.
yeah, and then maybe do some vodka in Russia, and then visit Prague and go to Salzburg and see what Mozart stuff I can find. That's what I would do.
That sounds like a great trip.
Yeah, it is. Let's plan it 2022 because it's going to take about a year and a half to earn that much money to do it. Well, listen, it's always great talking to you. We have a nice friendship and a good history together, and I really do appreciate everything that you do. And it's always fun hanging out with you. You always make me laugh, and I do appreciate your art and the things that you do, as far as like even this album cover is really cool. Nobody would think of a simple CD packaging to make it into a work of art, to give you a little bit of an extra I guess bonus for buying such a thing. For a while you'd only have those CDs, and then after that the MP3s, and the MP3s you had nothing tangible. So I love this kind of stuff where you give people tangible things to add to their collection.
Yeah.
You're always online at davemasonmusic.com. Do you sell merch online?
Well, I think, I guess we have some stuff up there. I will be, the CD will be available probably through the website in November, and the vinyl. Shelter Records, which is through BMG, is doing all this. They're going to be, they have all the streaming stuff. So they'll over the download stuff.
That'll be great. You'll get like 400ths of a penny for every download. That's just fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
And no wonder why everybody's got a tour. And here's the other thing people don't understand. Musicians and many disc jockeys, many performers, entertainers, whether they're on Broadway or not, or whatever the case, a lot of us do not have pension plans. And a lot of us don't have, healthcare plans that are definitely like you would in a place like at UPS, right? The union coverage.
Oh
and
yeah,
all
no,
those things.
no. There's we're at there. Basically you're out there without a safety net.
That's right. Yeah, which is truly the
Kind
American
of
way.
winging a prayer.
I
But on the
kind
end,
of prefer it that way.
well, on the back end of the video, which went by a little quickly, is I have a thing on there along with your charity that you had posted, what's called Music Cares.
Okay.
And they do a lot I mean, you have to understand that there's me and there's artists like me, but there's a huge support staff of people that go behind us that have got no work at, like, literally nothing. The road crews,
Right.
all that stuff. And Music Cares helps out a lot with those people.
Okay. So what we'll do before we say goodbye is I will play Feeling All Right one more time, and we'll end the show with the credits and information about Music Cares. Even if you have an extra nickel,
Yeah.
please, don't spend any money on Spotify. Spend it on Music Cares. How's that?
Exactly.
You like
Exactly.
that?
Thank you.
All right, Dave. I'll see you soon. All right. Here we go. Feeling All Right.
Love
Dave
you.
Mason and I love you too, buddy.
Seems I've got to have a change of scene. Every night, have the strangest dream. Prison by the way it might have been. Left here on my own, and so it seems. Well, I've got to leave before it starts to scream. Someone locked the door and took the key. Feeling alright, oh yeah, hey, hey, and I feel it good myself. Baby, I'm feeling alright right now, hey, and I feel it good myself. Oh yes, yeah.
Boy, you sure took me for one big ride. And every now and then I wonder why. And when I think of you, I stop myself to cry. I can't waste my time, I must get dry. Stop believing in all your lies. Too much to do